We've already been over the main villains and supporting villains in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and in part 3 we've talked about the comic book villains who appeared on the show who, while not were not big enough to be a part of part 1 or 2, I thought since they're comic book villains, they deserve to be included, so I created a third video in order to talk about the villains who are from the comics but didn't do much on the show. Blizzard or Donnie Gill only appeared 2 times on the entire show. He was played by a 13 Reasons Why star, which could be the reason why his character kind of just disappeared. Well, yes, he was killed. We did get confirmation that they couldn't find his body, hinting at something more, most likely hinting at maybe he was alive. But it never happened. I thought whatever it was setting up seemed promising, but since it went nowhere, I don't know what else to talk about. I thought the actor who portrayed him did a very good job. I thought the special effects on his powers were also really cool. Get it? Cool, because ice. But we didn't see much of it. So like I said, I think he had promise, but just didn't go anywhere. Lorelai. I thought her story made the show feel more connected to the movies by having her said to have escaped when the Dark Elves attacked. But when you watch the episode she's in, or the main episode she's in, because she's technically in 2 episodes, you can just feel how it's from another time. With how Lorelai straight up rapes Ward, who's a main character, and it was never said again, nor was even pointed out as being rape. Lorelai used her powers to force Ward into her having sex with her. And since he didn't properly consent, that's rape. And it just baffles me that it was never brought up. Instead, it was used as a tool to just really fill out the episode, or to have 2 characters who are very attractive be in an intimate relationship, even though she's literally mind controlling him. I thought it was a very messed up subject that they didn't. Well, it's a very heavy subject, and they just messed it up really badly, and they didn't handle it well. Like, they handled it horribly. Mainly, and they didn't even address the fact of what it was, because she forced him to have intimate relations with her, and it never got brought up that, yeah, he didn't consent. Hellfire's story, unlike Donnie, actually concluded, and it was good. Well, I would have had liked to see his story go on and be a recurring villain, but things at least for him ended with a clear end. And his fight with Ghost Rider was honestly probably one of my favorite Ghost Rider scenes on the show. Actually, no, that's a lie. I liked a lot of Ghost Rider scenes. I actually probably liked every scene Ghost Rider was in, but that one was also really cool to have 2 fire characters be fighting. And I thought he made a good addition to Hive's team and to fill up the ranks. And his power set was pretty, cool to watch in action. And I think it was a very interesting, taste of what was to come next season with actual Ghost Rider when he first appeared in season 3. And then in season 4, he actually got to fight Ghost Rider. It didn't end well for him, but it ended well for the audience because we got to see him fight Ghost Rider, so that's cool. Hellfire in the comics isn't that big of a character, so there's not much to really, nitpick on. So I'm not going to be like, oh, they downgraded him. But no, that's honestly probably an upgrade, because, like I said, he's not a big comic book character. He just exists and has fire powers, and is a human. So I thought on the show he was a much better character, which I suppose you could, of course, disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. Just personally, I think his character on the show was a lot better than in the comics. Nitro, while 2 out of 3 of his appearances, he didn't have his powers yet. When he did, I thought it was okay. It was cool. He wasn't used in the best way, as he turned into a one-off villain rather than the big bad as he is in the comics. In the comics, he's responsible for the Civil War. And here, he really just... I mean, he did... Okay, I will give him credit. He did kill that senator character whose name, I'm sorry, I don't remember. But she was a big part in the whole government stuff storyline that was going on in season 4. And he did kill her. So I'll give him credit where credit is due. But it wasn't really important to the story, and he didn't really bring anything. It was really most likely a nod to his character, but he didn't really add anything. I think they might have wanted to bring him back due to the fact that they kept him alive and had him in just a prison cell or prison cube sphere thing to keep him in. but he never got brought back. I think he should have been brought back for the whole like Thunderbolts ish team. It wasn't actually the Thunderbolts, but that team that appeared in season 5, Absorbing Man, Ruby, Werner von Strucker, Superior, etc. I think he should have been in that, but he wasn't. So instead, he just got Nitro, who is Inhuman in the show, not mutant, who just blows up Senator Lady and then gets imprisoned. Blackout, a character that is kind of in the same boat as Blizzard. I thought his story didn't really end with a proper ending. But what we got to see, I found him to be low-key more creepy than scary. Like, I didn't think he was a scary threat. I found him to be that, creepy office guy or creepy high school guy. He just, I mean, although that was probably their intention, so I'm not going to complain too much. And the character from the comics is kind of stupid, so I do think there's probably an upgrade to make him a stalker. That sounds so wrong, but unlike Lorelai's situation, I thought Blackout was handled a lot better when it came to the more serious subject, and I thought his powers were visually stunning. So, I can't complain too much because unlike Blizzard, I don't really care much for Blackout. I actually really like Blizzard and the comics. I've never cared for Blackout in the comics. He's barely ever appeared. I read when he fought Nova. I read when he fought the Avengers. I'm pretty sure he fought Captain Marvel at one point, but I don't remember. The Carver. He made it good off one villain. He wasn't a big comic character, so I didn't think it was a downgrade, nor was it an upgrade per se. Maybe it was to some people. I didn't really care. He was fine, I guess. I didn't really care. He was a good one-off villain, and I thought he did stand out with the whole carving, although I will admit I do think it was a little too similar to Victor Zsasz from DC, to the point where I might have changed it, although Victor Zsasz wasn't that popular of a character. Well, okay. Victor Zsasz, I think, is a very popular character to Batman fans, but overall to mainstream audiences, I don't think a lot of people know who he is, unless you watch Gotham, Batwoman, or Celebrate the Prey movie. Masundar, like the comics, he was a Kree scientist, but nothing special in either. I didn't think it was a downgrade or an upgrade. He was just there, really. Cassius, he's not actually from the comics. He's based on Cassiad, but he's not actually Cassad from the comics, so I only included him here because I completely forgot him in my other videos when it came to the main villains, which I guess he technically was one. I found him to be fine. I didn't dislike him. He was fine. I didn't think the actor really brought anything to the role. I thought his character was just the average alien. The Controller was killed off, I think, too quickly, but I don't really know him from the comics, so I can't complain. I know he's an Iron Man villain. I don't think he's an alien in comics, though. Is he? I might be wrong. Like I said before, I know a lot about who I do like in comics. I know very little about those who I don't really care for that much in comics. Well, I do know a lot, I would say, but I don't know much about a lot of the Marvel villains because a lot of Marvel villains are as iconic as DC ones. And even the more obscure Marvel villains, I would say I know even little more of. For example, like I said earlier, I know a lot about Blizzard and Nitro because I like both of them for the comics. I don't care for Controller in the comics, so I don't know really anything about him. I don't even know if he's an alien in the comics, like I said. I thought he looked like Controller with the whole, like, weird lines in his face, but he wasn't really, a threat. He literally just got thrown into outer space and died. Whiplash is a separate character from the one in Iron Man 2. This is the comic version of the character, as the character who appeared in Iron Man 2 was a new character. Well, kind of new character who is based off the Whiplash from the comics, but he was given a different name, and then he became a separate character in the comics later on. That's not this Whiplash. This Whiplash is the one who is, like, Scarlet, I think his name, Scarletti. I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'll be honest. I thought his character on the show was pretty cool. I liked his fight with May. I thought that really stood out to me in season 2. I think I would have kept him around working for Hydra a little longer than just one episode. I think a big thing that, for some unknown reason, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. love to do is that they like to create their own villains and have them around forever, But when it comes to comic book villains, they like to kill them off in just one episode, which is an ongoing trend, or 2 episodes. Like, if all these characters, Controller, Whiplash, Master Dar, Carver, Blackout, Nitro, Blizzard, all appeared in just 1 or 2 episodes. Lorelei, even. So I think it's very odd that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does that. They, of course, have some other characters who aren't like that, like Mr. Hyde and Exorbitant Man. For the most part, they usually kill off a lot of their comic book based villains for unknown reasons. I'm not hating on the show, by the way. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's just a small complaint I've always had about the show is the fact that they like to kill off a lot of their comic book characters. Angar and Carla Faye Gideon, I put these two together as they are both a part of Mr. Hyde's team, which I think overall, like I said about other characters, they also deserve to be longer than just 1 episode. In fact, I think Mr. Hyde's whole team, I think, deserved to be at least like 5 episodes. I really liked his team. I thought they were really distinct and very cool with their abilities, and especially Carla and Angar in that tech guy, I thought were really good. I thought the two strong guys were a little too much, in my opinion, but I thought these guys really deserved more on the show, but they only got 1 episode. These two characters are actually from the comics. That's why I included them and not the other ones when I was referring to this team. But Daredevil comics. So I found that really weird because they're both on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're both on this team, but they're both Daredevil characters. And Daredevil has his own show. So I find it really odd that they put them on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Either way, I thought these characters deserved more time in the spotlight, and that's just my opinion. And that's the last of them. So that's the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. villains, and I'll be making a similar series on the heroes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So stay tuned, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.